Is she confident or is she arrogant? You ever notice how women are so self-assured? And I do emphasize the word self in that self-assured phrase. This is female solipsism, right? Now, I'm not going to say every woman's like this. There are women who live in reality. There are women who base their decisions, how they think, etc., on objective evidence, objective truth, objective fact. There are some. I can't say all, but I do believe these women are somewhat of a rarity. Most women are subjective, not objective. Men, it's actually not a good thing for men to be subjective. I had this problem when I was a young man, and I probably still have this problem somewhat of being subjective. And it means you're in your feelings a lot. It means that you are basing your attitude, your behavior, your how you feel or how you think, essentially all based on your feeling, right? And I really had this problem when I was younger because I was depressed, and it was hard for me to, get out of that depression because everything that was going on in my life, I was running through the filter of my feelings. Now, I was somewhat raised by a single mom. My parents split up. I've talked about my dysfunctional family a lot in my podcast. My dad left when I was 12, so my parents essentially split up when I was 12. But they never divorced, and my mom never remarried. She never even dated anyone else, actually, because it's complicated, but she's spiritual and she's biblical, and the Bible says don't divorce, and they never actually divorced. And I think she was maybe at that point just tired of men or just tired of dating, and she just stayed single, essentially. And it just was what it was. And I think that was had to be over 15, 20 years ago. Oh no, now 25 years ago, something like that. So for 25 years, my mom didn't date anyone else. She didn't get remarried. And then my dad just kind of went downhill, right? So I totally lost my train of thought why I started talking about that. Holy shit. Anyway, so, oh yeah, the reason why I was gonna bring that up is because I was kind of raised by a single mom in the sense that, until I was 12, my dad wasn't around. So I've always wondered, am I, guys who are raised by single moms tend to be more feminine. They tend to make irrational, emotional decisions. They tend to be more emotional and be more into their feelings, whereas guys who had a strong father in their life tend to be more rational, tend to be more, logical, tend to be more objective. So when I was younger, I was more subjective, meaning I was just in my feelings a lot. And I tried over the years to be less like that, and I think somewhat I succeeded, but I think it was hard. So I've always thought about that and thought was I subjective because I was raised by a single mom? I don't know. But even today, there's kids out there who are raised with, if you're raised by a stepdad, I think by default, you're going to, because particularly in today's day and age, because what a lot of these people are doing who are raising kids from a broken home, they really they kind of overemphasize coddling them, right? Because they figure, well, he's already having enough problems, with his parents being split up, and so they coddle the kid, and it makes the kids feminine. And particularly with these single dads, these stepdads, who choose single moms, because stepdads, they're going to be overly sensitive anyways, because a lot of times these women choose guys because they're sensitive. They think, oh, he's a sensitive guy, he's going to be more apt to be kind to my child, he's going to be more apt to, he's not going to be like this angry stepdad, or like, I really want to make sure he loves my kid because I want to try to do everything I can to make it seem like he's the real father. And not only that, I want to, pick a guy who seems to be more feminine because of feminism. And don't think women don't do that. They're out here choosing guys, nice guys who are feminine, and these guys out here are trying to be more feminine, or they're trying to pretend like they're feminists, so that they can be like, hey, I'm safe. I'm a nice guy. I'm a good guy. I'm not like one of these misogynistic conservative guys or whatever. Like, all the rhetoric that gets thrown around about anybody who's not a Democratic Biden voting liberal. They're all fascists. They're all misogynists. Like, boy, I mean, culturally, we're in a crazy world, man. And I believe it's the end times. Obviously we've got a president who's failing. We've got a president who's just totally inept, totally not qualified. The guy can't even string together sentences, barely. I mean, come on, man. I mean, we are living in the end times. We are living in a world that is rapidly going down from every angle. They hit us with the feminism for the last 60, 70 years or however long since the civil rights movement really took hold, because that's when feminism really took hold. Even though, first wave feminism was implemented in the 1920s or whatever, and they got their right to vote, but really it didn't. The real feminism, the radical feminism, which is what feminism really is, when you boil it down, it's radical. It's just a gender supremacy cult. That didn't get implemented until the 60s and 70s. So since then, our culture and our society has just been going down. I mean, there's been some great things that have come, but morally, as far as the family life is concerned, as far as the foundational life of, God and country, and atheists, liberals, that they want to attack that, right? So much has gone down, and so what I see now is I just see a free-for-all, when it comes to these women, particularly with like OnlyFans, like Pornhub and Patreon and this stuff. It's like normal now. I mean, imagine in the 1940s, even, we'll just say 1940s, imagine you would get disowned by your family if you had naked pictures out there. They'd be like, you're bringing disgrace and honor to your father who worked hard to provide for all of us, right? That's what they would say. And today they'd say, oh, that's misogynistic. Like, nothing has, it's so funny how hypocritical and just dumb these feminists are, because they steadily say women are not objects, and yet they've successfully turned themselves into objects. Nothing has objectified women more than feminism. Nothing on this planet has objectified women more than feminism. And who is feminism? It's women. So women have objectified themselves. This is what I always say. You sell yourself. You're the one who put a price tag on sex. You're the one who uses sex as a bartering tool. You're the one who uses sex to get what you want, a high-value man. So this is the society that we're living in, man. And, OnlyFans is shutting down, which is good. I mean, I'm thankful for that. Like, to some extent, our society is going to be a little less messed up. But the solipsism is still there. And this is what I started off with, so many women are subjective, right? And what that means is they base how they view the world, how they feel, how they think on essentially how they're feeling, right? Oh, well, I don't feel good about this, and I don't feel good about that. And the problem with that is your feelings are not always right. Sometimes your feelings are right. A lot of times maybe your feelings are right, but not always. I would say, like, if I had to give a percentage, maybe 65, 70% your feelings are right. But that's still a good chunk that you're not right, And this is why the irony is a lot of times women are logical when they need to be emotional, and they're emotional when they need to be logical, right? a lot of times women will get logical when it comes to choosing a guy, which is funny because it's like, well, the statistics don't back up your choices. You know, women are initiating divorce 80% of the time. 8 times out of 10, it's a woman who's so that means because let's make no mistake, women are the ones who are choosing men, right? Women are the ones who are choosing men. Men essentially just take what we can get, which is sad. You know, it's sad. And there's so much here to unravel. You know, it's like, well, you know, women are putting on a front to get a guy to choose them, because what is a woman's prerogative? Her prerogative is to lock a guy down, lock a high value guy down for long term. That's what she's trying to do. What a guy is trying to do is he's trying to get a woman he's trying to take a woman off the market, right? He's trying to make sure that she is not going to cheat. He's trying to make sure that she is going to be loyal to him, and she wants to lock him down. It's kind of the same thing, but it's not. She wants to lock down a high value man. A man wants to lock down I shouldn't use the word lockdown. He wants to take a woman off the market so she's not an option for other guys. So he's not choosing a high value woman, which is really, guys, we need to talk about that. Like you needed to define what is a high value woman in your life. I'll tell you one thing I have, and one of the things that I've defined is for her to be moral. Because why would you want a woman who's been loose sexually, who's been promiscuous, who's been immoral, to raise your kids? If you're going to have kids with this woman, right, why would you want that? Now, you know, not even to really, the truth is you shouldn't even get married in today's day and age unless she makes more money than you, unless she makes as much money than you, and you could still probably get a prenup in that scenario. If you're going to have kids with a woman, it's even more dangerous because, you know, again, at any time, you know, she can change her mind. And I try to give advice that, like, I mean, because we want to get married. Guys want to get married. This is, you know, where women are told so many lies that, oh, guys don't want love. Guys don't want to get married. There's such a lie. No, the players don't want to, you know, love you and get married. Right, the players don't, because they got options, right? They're not lonely guys who are looking for companionship. And even then, they probably still want companionship at some point. It's just they're playing the field. And the irony is, this is what women are attracted to. It's nature. It's mammals who are, you know, she wants the high value man, which is, that in and of itself is like, should you really even get involved with the woman? Because she's only going to choose you if you're a high value woman, right? So, you know, someone asked me for advice recently about, you know, what we should do about Western women. Should we go to a different country? It's like, women are women, man. Everywhere, women are women. Whether it's in USA, Canada, Thailand, Europe, wherever, women are women. Sorry, it's their nature, and it sucks. And believe me, you know, I'm suffering just as much as you, right? Because of it. And I've said this before in a few videos, but that was the hardest red pill I ever had to take, was that women are not these nice, loving creatures who love you unconditionally. Women are hypergamous. And that hypergamy means if someone better comes along, she's probably going to leave you in the ditch. Now, yes, there's pair bonding involved, you know, in the sense that she'll probably feel a commitment to you or a pull to you, you know, that, you know, if you haven't done anything wrong to her, if you're a good guy, that does, you know, go places with her, that does go places with women. It depends, you know, what time of life it is for her, right? If she wants to settle down and you're a good guy, of course you have to have money, so that kills it. But, you know, again, if you're a good guy and you haven't done her wrong, she'll probably want to stick with you. But of course, like I said, you have to have money. So it's like, once you take the red pill, it's like there's almost no coming back. You went down the rabbit hole and you know what you know. So the only way to really get out of the matrix is if you take the fake steak, and if you just tell yourself a lie, and oh, she really loves me for me, or even you just accept reality. I've seen a lot of guys out there who are just, you know, taking their red pill to quote unquote accept reality, meaning I accept that she's hypergamous. I accept that she could leave me at any time. I accept that I'm buying a woman. Well, she's there for my security, and they just kind of tell themselves that it is what it is, you know, like if I didn't have this money, I know she'd be gone, but that's okay. I'm just dealing with it. Like, you're buying a woman and you're just accepting that, right? It's like Cypher in the Matrix. He's eating the fake steak. He's like, I know this I know this steak is fake. If you go watch the movie The Matrix, he sells out Neo, he sells out Morpheus to the agents. And he does it for a price. He's like, okay, I want money, I want this, I want that, I want fame, you know, in the Matrix. And he's sitting there eating this fake steak, and he's like, this is so good. You know, I know this isn't real, but it still just tastes so good. That's such a iconic scene, man, because there's so many guys like that. There's so many guys that are eating the fake steak, and they tell themselves whatever they have to, or they just accept it. They're like, yeah, if I didn't have money, she wouldn't be with me. Yeah, you know, I'm buying a woman. And they just accept it, and they're just like, okay, well, at least I got her. At least she's coming home to me, and she could cheat. And what's he going to say? He's not going to say anything, because he doesn't want her to leave. He doesn't want her to, you know, he might, I'm not saying he'll accept it per se, but I'm not saying that he'll allow it in the sense that she's open about it, but I've been in situations where, you know, I've been with girls who are cheating on their husbands and their long-term boyfriends, and it's like, it's almost in today's day and age, it's almost just like it's almost like a guarantee. It's almost like a given. Like, she's gonna cheat. You know, women cheat. You know, they have access. They have unlimited access to it. They get horny. They get sick of the same dick. You know, the best you could do in that scenario is just not accept it. Not, you know, don't be like, yes, you can do it, I'm going to be a cuck. Like, so at least she'll hide it from you, and you hope that she wouldn't do it that much. It's a jacked up scenario, man. I can't do it. I can't allow myself to eat the fake steak. You know, I just can't. I can't be a sucker. I mean, it sucks being lonely. It's terrible being lonely. But I can't compromise my values. You know, if no woman comes along who has all the values that I want, then I'll be single for the rest of my life. And it just is what it is. Because I'm not going to play the game so I can get something that is under me anyways, right? I'm not going to sacrifice my soul to get a woman who, you know, wouldn't love me if I didn't jump through certain hoops, you know? And people, I've discussed and argued with people up and down about stuff like this. You know, guys that say, well, you have standards for her. Why shouldn't she have standards for you? We don't have the same standards. I don't put a price tag on love. I don't say, well, you know, the woman should be making $60,000 a year and pay her own mortgage before I'm gonna. And for some guys that might be smart. You should do that. You maybe should do that. You know, she should have her own house. She should make the money. I'm not saying that can't happen, right? Of course, you should know what love is. Like, so many guys are so thirsty. I've had opportunities I've messed around with girls who were like, you know, you're not just gonna sleep with me. You know, we had our fun, but I want something real. You know, and I could have dated that girl. I could have been with that girl. But I chose not to, because I didn't feel like I could love this person. I didn't feel like I had chemistry. There's guys who are so desperate. There's so much in scarcity that they'll take anyone who comes along. Whether there's chemistry or not, they don't give a shit. It's like, this is a woman. She has a pussy. She's around. She's responding to me. I'm taking it, right? And it's like, I'm like, nah, you gotta have some standards, you know, and those were part of my standards, right? So some guys will be like, oh, well, you have standards. It's like, yeah, but my standards are not the same as a woman's standards. My standards don't revolve around money. My standards don't revolve around status. I don't give a shit about that. I don't care if you work at frickin' Burger King or if you work at, you know, the White House. It's not the point. Like, I don't care about money. I don't care about what you do for work. I don't care about status. Women do. They care that a guy has money, has resources. He can provide for her. He can take care of her. He can pay bills. Women care about that. I don't. And in fact, one of my standards is that a woman doesn't care about that. Really. So it's like, my standards are not the same as other guys' standards. And, you know, like I said, a lot of guys will be like, well, you have standards. It's not the same. I don't have the same standards. My standards are like, does she have morals? My standards are like, does she love me unconditionally? My standards are like, does she really support me? Like, do I really feel like this woman, loves and supports me? Or do I feel like I have to do all the work in this relationship? Meaning I gotta impress her, and I gotta give her all the compliments, and I got to make sure that she's, and a lot of women will like hide behind that, because, people, try to say like, well, women are responders. And it's true. Women are responders, right? Women do respond to a man's leadership. Women do respond to a man's cue, but that doesn't mean that she shouldn't bring anything to the table as far as like affection, as far as, support, as far as love goes. Like, I want a woman who's really going to actively care, actively, tell me, what about a woman actively pursuing a man, right? That's what I want, right? Not only that, I want her to be moral. I want her to, her body count isn't over even 5. I got some leniency, like, hey, it's 2021, like, hoping for a virgin in today's day and age is like looking for a unicorn. Anyway, so in many cases, I'm for all intents and purposes, I'm MGTOW, because it's like, there ain't nothing out there, man. I'm for sure red pill, but it's like, for all intents and purposes, I'm freaking MGTOW, because I don't claim MGTOW. I don't say I'm MGTOW, because if the right woman came along, I would definitely be with it. But where is the right woman? She ain't out there. She ain't out there. There's no women out there who by the age of 20 even haven't had a bunch of sex. Sorry. I mean, maybe in church, maybe if you get lucky, but at my age, in my 30s, hell no. So what am I supposed to do? I'd have to compromise my values. I'd have to say, okay, well, I guess I got to go for this used goods so I'm not lonely for the next 30 years. But it's like, again, it's like, how weak are you, All right, well, I'm lonely, but at least I got my integrity. At least I'm not sucking up to some used goods. At least I'm not, you know what I mean? And it's like, but also, I'm kind of a romantic. So if I felt like love overcomes, I always use this verse in the Bible. It says love covers a multitude of sins. I think it's in 1 Corinthians. Love covers a multitude of sins. That's true, but you got to be careful, right? You got to be careful. Now, like I said, I've had bad breakups, and I've loved women who were absolutely wretched, to me. So there's a line to be drawn. It's not like, oh, I love you, so I just accept all your bullshit. I mean, would she do the same for you? Oh, I love you, but you're broken. But I don't care that you're broke because I still love you. Like, no, she wouldn't do that. She'd be like, well, I love you, but you're broke, so I can't love you anymore. I got to go love somebody else. That's female nature, right? So if she be like that with you, why wouldn't you be like that with her? It's not. Anyway, it's very convoluted, man. The truth is that what causes all this, what ruins all this, is young promiscuity, is this culture that we live in, right? You got to find somebody when you're young who's going to stay faithful to you, but how could you? It's like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because say you find someone and you're like, oh, I know she's a good girl. I know she hasn't slept around, woo, woo, woo. At 20, well, 5 years later, she could change her mind, and she could just be like, oh, you know what? I've been single and faithful my whole life. I've been pure and moral my whole life, and now I want to go see what else is out there, right? I want to go play the field, and I want to go. Basically, what she's saying is, I want to go get ran through a bunch, right? So you never know. So it's like, I can't give somebody advice and say, well, this is what you do. You go to this place and find this kind of, because it's not out there. It's like you're going to searching for a gold nugget that doesn't exist. Female nature is female nature, and we don't live in a moral culture. Maybe in church you could find someone who's really consecrated to God, who's really different, but I don't know, man. I think you'd have to really compromise looks, because if a girl's attractive, she's going to get attention from guys, and what is attention from guys? That's temptation. And once you get tempted, it's easy to succumb, because temptation is, the moment you get tempted, you've already fallen, really. Because who can withstand temptation? It's very difficult to withstand temptation. If you find a girl like that who's really, really, really for real, withstanding temptation, then yeah, maybe then you could lock it down. But I don't know if that girl exists, man. Like they talk about, it's a unicorn. But it's not to say that there's not good girls out there. I think there are. It's just, good is a relative term. Like, maybe she hasn't been ran through by 100 guys. Maybe she's only been ran through by 15. I guess that's a better deal than 100 guys, right? You want a car that, maybe the car doesn't have 150,000 miles on it. Maybe it's got 75,000 miles on it, right? A lot of guys have to look at it like that. They have to look at it like that. Well, I know she's got a past, but her past isn't that bad. She's not that used. Guys will be out here compromising, rationalizing, right? I don't know, man. It's a dirty game. It's a dirty world. It's a cold game. It's a cold world. It's an immoral game. It's an immoral world. That's what we live in. And these girls are out here, mistaking confidence for arrogance, right? Or excuse me, mistaking arrogance for confidence, right? Whatever she feels is the way that it is, right? Would you really want a woman like that? Would you want a woman who bases all her decisions off of feeling, right? Really, in that case, you got nothing, because at any moment she could just feel something else, right? I mean, in the Garden of Eden, Satan as the snake came in and tempted her, in the form of questioning. He got to her, he questioned God, and she started to question God, right? So just like the snake, any other guy could come in and cause her to question. Any guy could come in and cause her to falter and cheat on you, right? And then you already built a life with this woman. I mean, that's essentially it. How could you ever trust? How could you ever, and love is, a large part of love is trust. And when the trust is breached, you can never trust again. And how could you love someone that you can't trust? How could you love someone who cheated on you? I mean, I've heard of guys forgiving their woman who cheated on them, but how could you? Because trust is gone. She could do it again at any time. Lots of stories out there of guys like, yeah, she cheated, and I forgave her, and we put it in the past, and then she cheated again, and she breached my trust again. It's like, I'm telling you, man, once you lose that initial trust, it's over. But guys are so much in scarcity mode, and women have done this, and they act like they're powerful. They act like, and that's what I'm talking about, arrogance. And what do they have? What do women have to really base that arrogance on? Nothing. Just the fact that they're a woman. This is the lie that gynocentric society tells them. Oh, you're a woman, so whatever you do is right. You're a woman, so based on that, whatever you do is justified. I mean, what is that? Like, you think you're a god? You think you're a god. That's what it is. That's what that is. That's what that kind of arrogance is it's you think you're a god. You think that whatever you decide is the way it is, and it's almost like you're creating your own reality. That's what a god does. You're creating your own reality. Would you want to be with someone like that? It's almost like living with a tyrant. You're living with a tyrant. She's not confident. This is what women mistake. They mistake arrogance and confidence. There's a difference. Confidence is like, I'm assured in my abilities. I'm assured that decision I'm making is right, Arrogance is like, because I've decided this, therefore it is. Because I've decided this, it's like, how could, no. And this is such a common thing. They mistake arrogance for confidence, and it's based on nothing. It's based on nothing outwardly. It's based on their subjective feeling. Right? It's based on their decision to be a woman. I'm a woman and I made a decision, therefore the decision that I made is right and I'm confident about it. No, that's arrogance. You can't base your decision on your gender and then act like that is confidence. No, you are playing God. You're making a decision because you're making a decision based on your own feeling. And your feeling is based out of like your need to be secure. Your feeling is based on all these things that are not logical or rational. This is the difference between men and women. Men make decisions based on rationality and logic. Women make decisions based on feeling. And then I said earlier that women will oftentimes do the opposite things of what they're supposed to do. They'll make logical decisions when they should make emotional decisions, and they'll make emotional decisions when they should make logical decisions. Really, it's kind of both. If you're going to make a decision about a relationship or love, you kind of should use both logic and emotion. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there. It's a tough thing. There's no easy answer when it comes to dealing with these modern women. But it is what it is. Until another day, it's been Jay Lee, Northwest Podcast. Peace.